Charlie Jane voted for whales. So, this is for you, Charlie. So, let's get this out of the way. I'm a whale. I don't mean, do I look fat in this? I mean that I am vast. I am bigger than you were quite able to conceive. What I mean to say is, I'm literally a whale. The world is an endless series of mysteries, opening up to reveal further mysteries. The closer that you look, the more it all falls apart. This is as close as I know to approach the question of how it is I am self-aware. Another is, how did you become self-aware? Were you born this way? As an infant, stuffing fingers randomly into your mouth, the mouth that was shaped for sucking a nipple, that at first was always ready to shape itself around a nipple, sustenance, that mouth and those toes a continent away, and really, they might not exist at all, and then suddenly pop in your mouth too. What I mean to say is, everything gets into your mouth, and that's how you understand it, to begin with. You ingest and excrete. Shit fills your diaper, but you have no understanding of what it is, only that where you were comfortable and dry, now you are stinking and sludged, and where does any of that organize itself into an I, and mommy into you, and other faces that float into your view as them, and next thing you know, you're playing Grand Theft Auto in your boxer shorts. And you imagine yourself a dangerous pimp, when in fact, you're kind of a nice guy who's a little uncomfortable around strangers. You have not only self-awareness, but you can make a story around yourself and live 2 lives, or 3, or 15. When you've explained this to me, maybe then I can begin to explain the fact of myself, and how it was that when I breached high above the prow of the tourist boat, I knew you there, in your long shorts and band t-shirt. I knew that look on your face, and I felt the shock that traveled through your body at the sight of a living being so close and so impossibly big. And what I'm saying is that in the moment you saw me and felt your place in the universe shift, I saw you. And through you I saw myself, and you should know. I'll always love you for that. You were high, of course. Everyone in the entourage got high together. The pop star had a thing for ecstasy, and you worried that your share was maybe a little bigger than you were quite ready for. It was still early in the day, and the music was way too loud, and the Cabo sun relentless, and you'd forgotten your hat. The skin on your head is sensitive. The hair a bit thin up there. You'll be bald before you're out of your 30s. And you were feeling a little guilty after the tour guide talked about chasing us away from our original breeding grounds, and now we have to go farther out to get a little quiet. But you're chasing us out here, too. 4 boats running us down. And is that really necessary? Is that humane? That word cracks me up. Humane. Because you won't see any whales coming up with such elaborate, ridiculous torture. 4 boats up after us, and their motors messing with our sonar, and one of them, admit it, you couldn't wrap your head around it either. One of them looks like an old 4-masted pirate ship. But they start up its motor too. Some old tiny pirate ship making the biggest racket of any of them. It's stressful. I would have loved to just go deep and hide out until all you douchebag humans went on your way. But a whale has to breathe. I should be giving birth right about now, but none of my pregnancies make it. I need a little quiet, is what I'm saying. But here's the thing. I saw you, and you saw me. And don't tell me you didn't feel it. Something more than just that dumb mammalian, I am so small sort of adrenaline shot the pop star and girls in bikinis were having. There was a connection. We communicated. I wanted to open my mouth for you to see all the way inside me, past the structures of meat and gristle, and into my heart, my metaphor, my shining clockwork of love. There you see it turning, and you would know it, love. You could call down into my center and hear your voice return and harmonized with mine. I knew you were with me on this. I know you were with me on this. None of those lank, skinny girl creatures and their bright strips of fabric did it for you. Never had. You went through a period where you thought you were gay, but your little cock drooped at the thought. And eventually you managed a wrestle or two with a girlie who just wanted to fuck close to the pop star. And in her stories, maybe it became him and not you. Both of you making do in the end. You're no virgin, and I've had my share of mating, is what I'm saying. But you're a romantic. You had an expectation built into you from the time you learned your name, and even when it was your mother's voice, that early, there was that shadow of disappointment. You were waiting for this, waiting to have your heart blasted open in an instant. I ran alongside the boat, and you bent over the side, reaching your hand toward the water. You wanted to touch me. I heard you breathe in fast when I opened my mouth to let a snap wash in, 1,000 little creatures swimming into me. You wanted it, and so did I. You pictured your hand sliding over my flesh as I turned in the water, the bright line that followed it, and I would turn and turn until I was tattooed with the delicate trails of your hand. What could I do? The others were drinking margaritas and dancing to the music blaring out of the speakers, girls taking off their tops and their breasts burned in the sun. They were bubbling with the face of their own mortality. The pop star stayed on the far side of the boat, did you notice? He never wants to see a whale ever again. Not even a picture of one. And he's the center of gravity in that little universe. Everybody else orbited close to him. He held onto the railing and kissed girl and tried to find himself again as immortal. All the rest moved to help. If he fell, so did they all. Except you. You reached down as far as you could, and I offered up my back to you. We strained toward each other, and we were so close, you could smell my wet ocean world, and I could feel the atoms shift away from the tips of your fingers. And then the boat tipped into the trough of a wave, and easy as water from a cup, you were over. I felt the water make room for you, waves moving across my body like a kiss. Did you really fall? Or did you let yourself fall? You were down here with me now, that's all that mattered, and you knew it too. I moved up next to you, and I never felt anything like you. So soft and yielding, and this was it. This was clearly a choice. You came down here to be with me, and you and I would be something entirely new. I tumbled you around with me, and you were getting into it. I could see it. Your eyes so big, and how is it you knew just how to touch me? It was destiny, is what I'm saying. We were both made for this story that's bigger than whales or humans have ever seen. This is what you humans do. You make yourselves into creatures that can fly and live underwater, and you and I are the next step forward for all of this. And this is where it started, or where it should have started. You came down here, remember, and you can't say you weren't into it. I know how to tell. You moved like someone who wanted it. You were begging for it, and maybe I got a little carried away. I mean, I was seeing whole new universes here. I was seeing the future, and you were part of it, but you seemed to have lost the thread. I'm not sure what you thought you were doing, but it was almost like you were trying to get back to that boat. Back to that limited place with those silly people, and it's not like you said no. You were all for it until you shrunk back down to dumb human, and maybe you were worried about what your friend the pop star would think. But that's not the man I know. That's not the human I loved. And if you'd been a little more patient, if you just listened to me and relaxed, it would have been fine. Trust me, I was saying. But you closed your ears, and I didn't want you to make a bad mistake, is all. Is it my fault that, okay, I didn't know you needed to breathe a little more often than we do? But if you had just fucking listened, you wouldn't have wasted all the breath you had in you so damn fast. So fast. And then you were just floating in the water like any other piece of crap that's mucking up the place. Your loss is what I'm saying. Your loss. Yeah.